Can you hear my Angry Birds in the background, Jonathan?
They're going crazy right now.
I have no idea why that's like, they're quiet every single other moment of the day, but I start recording and man, they just go out of control. All right. Well, while the Angry Birds are chirping away in the background, what do we got this week?
This week in tech history, we have May 10th, the birth of wireless.
The birth of wireless.
What is the first thing that went wireless? Radio.
How do you even pronounce the guy's name? Guglielmo
Macaroni.
Macaroni. Oh man, it's a good thing this guy's probably dead. Otherwise, he'd come after us. So he sends a radio wave 3/4 of a mile. 3 years later, he did ship to shore communication. Oh, you know what's interesting about this? Because this is all radio waves, right? There's a movie. Oh man, I wish I knew the name of the movie where they had, and most, you know who talks about this? Oh, there was a DJ on K-Rock that talked about this, and he talked about pirate radios. So these were ships that would be like in international waters, and they would broadcast radio, and they would play their music and all that stuff. And people in the land would tune to those stations and listen to pirate radio. This was like unsanctioned by like whatever radio association or committee or, you know, government ran agency. They didn't approve of this, but because these ships were out in international waters, they had no jurisdiction, and the radio waves just happened to reach the radios of the people in the land. And so they would listen to pirate radios.
That's cool.
It is cool. In fact, you know what? Let me,
what would they play on pirate radio?
I'm sorry?
What would they play? Just like music or?
I don't know if it was music that was, if it was music that wasn't allowed to be played, or maybe they had their own, like their own type of music that just, oh man, this is gonna bug me now. Let me see. K-Rock DJs. It wasn't Stryker. It was Richard Blade. He talked about that. When he left K-Rock, when did we live in the Almani house? Back in early 2000?
Early 2000s, yeah.
I believe that he left either late 90s or early 2000. He left K-Rock. And he talked about how he got into the radio industry. And he talked about as a kid, he would listen to these pirate radio stations. And so that would be like how I learned about it, but just kind of, you know, talking about this birth of wireless guy, Guglielmo Marconi, you know, how ship to shore communication was established. And basically these were radio waves, you know, so over the air radio, it was all radio technology. And so that's where I remember that story that that Richard Blade was talking about, that he would listen to pirate radio stations offshore. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, yeah. So piracy has been around since 1894.
Wow.
So.
All right. Next.
Hang on. Before we move on, I think because radio stations have to pay royalty fees to songwriters or the record companies, I think these pirate radio stations would get away without paying the fee. And so they would just play their music, and they would have listeners, and then they would do their own type of like advertisements and basically keep the money from the ads. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know, you know, but that's essentially what it was about. So it was, in a sense, a form of pirating because you were pirating the music and not paying the royalty fees. So, all right, let's move on.
Next, we have on May 11th, VisiCalc.
What is VisiCalc, Jonathan?
I'm thinking some kind of calculator.
It looks like it, huh?
Yeah.
But okay, so if you look at this picture, right? This picture, I guess it does kind of look like a calculator. But if you look at this header and these row numbers, what do you get from that?
It's a little spreadsheet.
It is, right? So yeah, VisiCalc was the first, the original spreadsheet.
Cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And it was released with the Apple II. Wow, more than 100,000 copies in the first year, which meant that they had to sell that many computers, at least. Well, okay, so yeah, it spurred the sales of Apple. Wow.
Wow, useful for home computers.
Yeah, definitely. This is where accounting probably became a really big thing for them.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Next, we have May 12th, the Z3.
Oh man. Fully functional programmable computer. Because Germany was fighting World War II, not much was known about the Z3 until after the war.
Oh, wow.
So this, wow, look at all those vacuum tubes. It's a lot of vacuum tubes. And that looks like an old-fashioned cash register, doesn't it?
It does. Wow. What is that thing on the side, too? Is that the mouse? No, just kidding.
The mouse. Oh, man. That'd be crazy if it was. Touchpad. That's pretty cool. The Z3. Cool.
All right. Next, we have May 13th, System 7 released.
Man, this is
for Mac.
Yeah.
Macintosh.
This was the what year was this? 1991. Yeah, I remember in high school we were working with the Mac Apple IIc, late 80s.
Wow. That's a pretty big milestone for Apple.
Yeah, it is. Cool.
Next, we have Into the Ethernet, also on May 13th.
Yeah, so this is where Digital Equipment, Intel, and Xerox, they said, you know what, we need to come up with a standard for Ethernet communication. And so they came up with this wire called an RJ45 connector. So the RJ45 looks similar to the phone connector. You remember what a phone connector looked like?
Yeah.
When you can, the house phones?
Mm-hmm.
Those are called RJ11s. And these are called RJ45s. And I remember we were talking about the modems.
Yeah.
A few episodes back. And you're like, yeah, it looks like an Ethernet connection. I was like, yeah, that's pretty close. Actually, a phone connection. The jack is different. So yeah, so these jacks, basically, they give them these, I think they are, what do you call it? I forget what it is, but essentially they give them these codes and say, okay, this is now the standard, right? So RJ45 is for Ethernet, and these are the types of speeds that you'll get from it, and the type of the type of data that you can send over it. And then you got the phone one, which is the RJ45, which was mostly analog. And so you actually get like an analog signal coming through those particular wires. So cool.
Next, we have money for nothing, ?
Isn't there like a song, money for nothing and the chicks for free or something like that? It's an old, oh man. It's an old 1980s song. I have to look for it now.
Yeah.
1980 song, money for nothing.
Yeah, this was the first CD to sell over 1 million copies. The Money for Nothing album.
British rock band, Dire Straits. Oh, then this is it.
Yeah,
this is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should listen to the lyrics of this song. It's actually kind of cool.
Next, on May 14th, Skylab launched. What is Skylab?
Skylab.
First manned space station. Wow.
With the largest payload ever launched into space. Skylab will fall back into Earth atmosphere July 1979.
It looks like an old school helicopter.
Yeah. You know, those solar panels are what charge the batteries on there, I guess.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Cool.
Next, on May 15th, Apple retail stores revealed.
2001, huh? Did Gerard get his iPhone at a Apple store?
I don't remember. I feel like he probably did.
Or did he order it online?
No, I don't think we did that.
I remember he saved up for like 9 months to get his iPhone, the very first version of the iPhone.
The first one. I remember he got the first one too.
He didn't want any gifts for his birthday. He said, give me money. I'm saving up for the iPhone. Is there any chores I can do, Dad, for that can help me earn money? I'm saving money for my iPhone. And he bought the first iPhone, the first version iPhone, iPhone 1. And I think that became a brick. No, he gave it to his cousin. And maybe like a year later, it became a brick. Boy, I tell you. Cool.
All right. On May 16th, first laser created. 1960. First laser.
What's interesting about lasers? It's that it's light, but I mean, it's I don't know if it's like concentrated light or what it is. I had a laser beam somewhere here. What did I do with it? Maybe I put it away. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how lasers work.
Just a beam of light.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's pretty cool.
All right, that's it for tech history.
All right. Kind of feel like this one fizzled out at the end because boring. They're fun to play with, but they're boring.
They're freaking laser beams, man.
They're freaking laser beams that you put on the top of a shark's head. Cool. Well,
we still don't have laser beams on top of shark's head, though.
Dang it. When's that going to happen? All right. Well, we'll leave everyone with the highlight of the first laser beam.